All right, this is Judo Woke Ace, Truth Talk Nation, a hidden hand. I'm here with Aseer, the Duke of Tears. Man, it's been a minute more. How you been?
Minute, right?
Yeah, how's the fam?
Can't complain, man. Wait, let me turn it up. See if I can make sure I can hear. Okay.
Yeah.
You can hear me okay, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Man, it's been a minute, man. I got a lot to get into, man. I know you know about the hottest story I had to ask you about, man. Is the satanic Travis Scott ritual, man, the concert that everybody is talking about right now, man. He had the portal opening up, and then soon the portal opened up on stage. People just start dropping dead, having seizures, all kind of shit, man. There's all kind of stories out there. People was getting poked with needles. They just kept it going. I mean, I never seen nothing like that. Usually they'll stop something like that. The cops, they kept it going. So, I just want to get your take on it.
Well, Mo, we've been talking about this from when it happened at the Ariana Grande concert. Remember that?
Right.
22 people died with that shit. You know what I mean? Just like when concerts and open air venues right now are part of the war. They part of the battlefield. You know what I'm saying? Like they out here really using those venues to put up numbers. You know what I'm saying? And,
right.
Because they practice murder by the numbers, they got to continuously create that type of consistency. But my daughter was out here, big up to her a little while ago, and I'm into like animation and stuff like that. So a long time ago, I remember when she was here, she reminded me of this old animated movie from the 80s, like 82, 83. And you go to my Facebook page right now, you'll see I posted like images from this movie. Anyway, this movie was called Rock and Roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was all about a post-apocalyptic Earth where you had a bunch of people that were just all gone. So like regular humans is gone. So in their place now, it's like animals that they're upgraded. So they're like dog people, cat people, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So in this world, in this future, is run by this musician named Mock, right? And Mock was played by this rock dude named Lou Reed. Anyway, in the movie, he's like reached a level in the game where he's trying to like really break into the other side. So what he do is he find an equation to create a demon, but he need to manifest it and feed it. So he decided to turn his concerts into feeding frenzies for these demons to come out through these portals and stuff.
What's the name of that movie again?
It's called Rock and Roll.
Rock and Roll?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta watch that. Okay.
And then in that movie, like I said, there's a whole thing where Mock basically creates the portal. He kidnaps the girl. He puts her in the thing, and he's trying to use her voice to amplify the demons to get them to incarnate in this world. So when you look at the movie, one of the main demon that they manifest out of it is the same color spectrum, the same shape as the demon that you see in this, that you saw in the Scott concert. You know what I'm saying? Because like as soon as I saw it, it registered to me.
You talking about the one that was over the portal with the hands?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you go to my Facebook page, you don't gotta go to the actual page, but if you go to it now, I got all of the breakdown of it. When you see like the image from the movie and then the image from the stage, it's basically the same type of thing. But I say all of that to say that.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Also, you peep it, right? You could take the images off and show them on the joint when you hook it up.
Right.
But long story short, he created a vacuum portal because people were saying that when they fell on the ground, they felt like their face hit like some sort of plastic. top of that. So there was something under the joint that when they turned on the joint, because there was a countdown. So he counted down from I think 10 to 0, and then from there, right when it popped off and the 8 streams of fire and all that shit went up, the portal opened. You started seeing all of these things open. That's when it would seem like when you watch the video, it was like a rush. It was like people were being sucked into it. And then a lot of those people that was feeling sucked into it, so when they fell down, some of them that was able to get back up at least said it felt like there was something under the thing.
Like some type of energy force or something, maybe.
Yeah, they probably built like an organometer or something like that under the joint, because a couple of months, maybe a couple of weeks before that, I don't have Twitter and all of that, but you know, people be telling me. So on one of these dudes' page, he was in like this. He was saying like, "Oh, I'm with some tech people and I'm going in on some shit." And he was in like this box type thing. And then Drake did another post where he was kind of like in the same type of box thing. Mm-hmm. Then it's funny because the box had me reminded again of Saturn, because Saturn is the cube,
right?
It's the black cube. But then I remember this dude, Roddy Ricch, had a song that blew him up called The Box, remember?
Yeah.
And he was on the show. Get what I'm saying? And it was Kris Jenner's birthday. It was her 66th birthday. You know what I'm saying? So...
Well, so what about, before you get into that, what about, it started off about 9, the action started going down at like 9.
Yeah, when shit started popping around the born era, around the born time, because 9 is born, bring it to existence. So between 8 and 9 is when things really pop. You see what I'm saying? And then from that point on, it was just whatever. But when you look at the imagery, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And you see how it was basically set up. It seemed like a giant experiment. You know what I mean? Or ritual situation that they may have was trying to test something. And it may not have worked how they want. And they might have just like turned it off before it was able to reach the climax. Because people said that they felt like they was being sucked into shit. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, then before that, around the Master P, remember Master P told niggas before he got up the stage, don't die. Right? This is the last thing he told them. So, they found, but at the same time, you understand, Trav, his shows are known for that type of heavy, intense involvement. Like,
yeah, Astro World's been wild for the past, I think it's been the past few years.
Yeah, like people always be being carried out of this shit because they be having extra like crazy mosh, you know what I'm saying, and people just be wilding. So,
and you got the lighting and all that shit he be having. You know, he had like the,
because it's all connected to the mechanism of whatever they was setting it up to. For all you know, it was hooked up to CERN or some shit.
Right.
Looks good. Looks good, buddy.
I keep talking about CERN. Nobody's talking about CERN. We don't know what the hell going on with CERN.
Yeah, man, because they don't want, because remember, the media is totally manipulating them. So nobody's going to talk about anything that's not sanctioned by the people trying to kill off humanity. You understand? Twitter, Instagram, they trying to kill humanity. They trying to substitute humanity with artificial intelligence and metaverses and what you call it, to phase you in out of a total analog world into a total digital world.
Yeah, the transhumanism, the transhumanism. They want,
yeah, we've been talking about this shit from before Obama was in office.
Long time.
I'm trying to say, like, that's what they do.
Wow. Yeah, man. It was just chaotic, man, with the Travis Scott shit, man. It was just, and it was a 10-year. I don't know what the 10-year-old. They saying like a 10-year-old was there and he died. How in the hell a 10-year-old get in the concert?
10-year-old. It's way more than 8 people that's dead, but they needed 8 because it's a Saturnian ritual. So 8 got to be popped out there. There was 8 streams of fire that popped off when they turned on the portal, and then all these people felt like they was being sucked. And when you watch the tape, you see it. It's like as soon as he popped, he come out and he start bugging, and then the whole crowd goes forward. It's like a wave. And then from that point, everything that they had done to stimulate the environment for that crescendo, that's called the grand climax. Once they got to that grand climax, all the shit they had put in the water, all the shit they was amping from the thing, all how they carted it off so people couldn't get out, how they put the sound thing in a way where the people had to, if they wanted to see the show, they would have to stay in front of it, which means it would be more people to capacity. Like it was all laid out like that.
Right.
So you got to understand, when they built Astro World, when it was being built, like 5 people died during that shit. Two construction workers definitely, but part of construction and building and all of that now, they actually use human blood and body parts in the mortar and all that. You can look that up. There's companies that do that. I posted that shit on Facebook as well.
You said they put the blood in where? What you said now?
They put in blood and human body parts in mortar and concrete to build buildings now. You can look that up. There's a whole industry that does that. So a lot of dead bodies, cadavers, people get harvested, whatever excess. A lot of these people is becoming the foundations of buildings and shit all around. A lot of these new modern buildings, fabricated buildings, shit. A lot of the heavy concrete and stuff they're using now got actual human substance in it. You can look it up. So this is part of the whole thing, and plus it's the last month of Jason, so they got to get the last off. So
yeah, the Jason months.
He just jumped ahead of everybody else that was in line to be the next piece of shit Dark Lord. You know what I mean? Like he put up a lot of numbers right now, so a lot of people gonna have to in the future gonna have to get up out of here in order for somebody to pass him. Because this also happened when you brought Drake out. You know
yeah.
I mean? Remember Drake, Draco, Draconis, Draconian, Drax, like you understand? So again, and I'm peeping the timing. This is right after Kanye did the interview.
Right. On Drink Champs.
Shitting on him, right?
Right.
He's shitting on him, saying that he basically was a clone of him, which is true. But I would say to Kanye, then why you paid this nigga to ghostwrite and produce records on the Yeezy album? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This nigga Travis was also popping off Amber, according to their little history Hollywood shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's this 6 degrees of separation with all of these people that lets you know that regardless, man, like they all down with it. Like they down with it. Right now. Like he hot and all of that. Like in terms of like, you know, lawsuits.
Yeah, because they had Travis come out on like a cherry picker looking over the crowd, and he was like in a trance, and then he come back to explain like he didn't even know, like some kind of mind control shit, like he didn't even know what the hell happened.
Bruh, he was on the stick or whatever he was standing on, and he was singing, if that's what you want to call it, into the thing, and they was carrying the dead bodies out.
Right.
And he's singing like, oh yeah, like with the auto-tune and shit, it was just really like things. So maybe he wasn't in his body, because he's always disassociated from himself. Like, there really is, Travis Scott don't exist. This thing that we're seeing is the thing that is being produced to us to give energy and all of that too. But
right.
From the very beginning, like before when I first seen the very first thing he did, I think it was this thing called Quintana he had. And when I seen him in that video way back, and he was on fire with the Baphomet like halter belt on, I was like, oh, it's a wrap. This nigga, he gonna make it. Because, you know what I mean? He got the sound, and he's showing the right symbols to the right people to go where he need to go. So he was always a walk-in. So by the time I heard the Yeezy album and I heard his influence on that, you know what I'm saying? I thought that his music style shit was cool. But, well, I should say, however...
I know he stole... What was that? A$AP Rocky's? I always called it stolen A$AP Rocky, the look, the whole nine.
Right, but then they say A$AP stole Space Ghost Perp shit. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody... Right. See, to me, art is you being able to take something that may exist and make it your own, right? So, for instance, like Rocky, like he basically was rhyming like Bone Thugs, you know what I'm saying? But seeing a nigga from Harlem, you see what I'm saying? Seeing a nigga from Harlem, in a sense, influenced with the LA Raiders type steves, but then still East Coast
right.
rap, like that's what made his style of it unique. Like that him. So no, he wasn't. You can see he influenced by Bone Thugs, but he wasn't writing Bone Thugs. You understand what I'm saying? Travis, on the other hand, you dig what I'm saying? He, to me, was kind of like a fighter, kind of like, and then again with Drake, he did this show with Drake, and he fell into a hole. You can look it up.
Right.
It's one thing now. He did a show with Drake. I remember seeing it, and he fell into a hole, which is basically the bottomless pit. It's the ritual, I'm thinking. And then when he came out, that's when he started to like blow, kind of like in my, like if I'm looking at it from somebody that's on the peripheral, it just seemed like he started to kind of like expand his thing. His music started sounding better. You know what I mean? But it's still within that sub-genre that somebody like me is paying attention to from the perspective of like, one, I need to be in tune with whatever my son may or may not be listening to, my children, right? But then two, seeing like the latest archetype that they using to perpetuate this obvious Satanism. So like, he was on this satanic shit from the very beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the same way it was this like this in Astro World 3, it was like this in Astro World 1 and 2. The same satanic shit was going on. Like, I don't know, people acting like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't no pits. People wasn't getting carried out. It's just this.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Amplified.
Yeah, this was the craziest. Astro always, everyone I done seen on there, when they open the gates, they rush through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
you don't know who was in there. And like I said, man, the city, everybody's on the hook for it, but nobody gonna go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, Alec Baldwin walking around here with a body right now, and it's all good.
yeah, that's what I had that on there too with the Alec Baldwin gun case. They saying this the guy that gave him the gun was the same one that gave the one guy the gun for Brandon. I mean, allegedly. With the
it's the same company. Like the guy that gave the gun to Brandon is still acting.
Right.
He's still acting. Yeah, he's still out there. He was, you know who he was? He was the nigga in 7. No, not him. Was it him?
So you saying like the one that gave Alec Baldwin or did something with the gun was the same person dealing with Brandon's death, Brandon Lee?
There's a connection. I don't think it's the same dude though, because that guy is an actor
right.
himself. He's acting. The armorer, the person who's responsible for the guns and all of that, I think that's the same company. You see what I'm saying? That rock with it and all of that. And that armorer, the armorer that they had was let go because she was too about the safety thing. And so they brought in the Shylock in, and this chick was on some half-ass and stuff with it. So again, I'm saying all of that to say, it don't matter. Ain't nobody going to jail for that. Because this is low-key seeing how much these actors can now get away with and stuff like that. Like what's his name shot himself, and he did 2 years.
You talking about the player?
You know what I'm saying?
The player for the Giants,
right?
Right.
You think you right now? You see Denzel right now. You have Denzel on a movie screen as well known and everything as he is. Let that nigga mistakenly shoot somebody on the thing, and we'll see how far that privilege really go. Because it seems all of that stuff only extend to the white side of the Hollywood stuff, and the black Hollywood people just suck a favor up under all of them. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta understand, all these people is together, and I think this situation was good because not good like a good experience or good occurrence, but good in the context that it again has been bringing to light the stuff that people like myself have been talking about for over 20 years, man.
Right.
Satanic ritualistic abuse. This thing has been running rampant in the United States since they actively let Skull and Bones take over the country. And everybody think it's a joke, and everybody want to know why, and this and that. But the system is rigged to support these types of events. And like
I know this is after Charles declares. You know, they saying he's secretly the king right now. Queen Elizabeth is so sick she can't even handle the duties right now. So Prince Charles has became the king, and he's declaring war on the humans. This was last week.
Okay.
And so you got him declaring war because he's into the transhumanism, all into the Epstein flights, all of them.
Oh, yeah.
And
but wait, he's saying declaring war on who? Humanity?
On humanity. You know, they say carbon. But last week he said, should we use military for the carbon issues to make people comply? And he just, you know, at the summit that just passed.
Okay, right. The carbon footprint bullshit, right? All of that, yeah. None of that's gonna work, man. Let me tell you something. Prince Charles, take it from Prince Charles. Take it from this Prince Charles. That Prince Charles, that nigga, the last thing he really wanted to do was rule anything. Charles never wanted to be king. That's what you need to understand. He never wanted to be that. Because he was always being son his whole life. And the one way that they can rebel is to not take the seat that they know they're supposed to get. They waiting for William. Actually, really, they're waiting for Archie.
Hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? They really waiting for him.
You talking about that's the secret one? What is that? The secret king or something? That's really heir to it.
He's the heir apparent because it goes in succession. Is okay. Let's say Charles is acting as that.
Right.
And that means what? William is going to still be the prince.
Mm-hmm.
Harry's out of it. So William's then going to be the prince, and then what? They're going to bring in, and then under William is his son, Archie. But Archie is the one that's most important because he represents the future. See what I'm saying? Will, his father, that's married to Kate, he represents the present, and now Charles is representing the ancient past that's now trying to, you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But remember, he never wanted to be king because these niggas is not real, they not real British.
They're not.
Still. And a usurper came, this other fake dude, Hallett.
Hallett.
Yeah, with his fake shit, talking about how he's the crown, this, that, like all of that's fake, man. All of these nobilities that's claiming nobilities receive those nobilities at the behest of our titles being forfeit and being wrapped up in trust, and then them occupying the same thrones and stuff that we was on as decoys. You understand? That's why they could move one from one place to the other because it's the same organization. That's why you could have the king of Italy be also the king of Denmark. You understand? Because under our system, they was all cousins and brothers and uncles and aunts and all of that.
Right.
Just like now, you got some people in your family that's Moors, some that's blood, some that's Crips, some that's Christian, some that's Rastas, right?
Yeah.
Reunion, if there is one, everybody come and they know because that's the family. See what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with them. Like he don't got no power. They don't have power like that. The way that they trying to get us to believe they do. All that's a wrap now. What's happening now for corporations is stepping in as the new monarchies for the planet. And they're really at war with them because they've been working with them. But the big tech corporations have been working to establish their own corporate monarchy ever since. So when you think about Jeff Bezos, Jack Dorsey, whatever, the pedo dude that run Twitter and all that, all of those guys are the equivalent of a Prince Charles, a Diana, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Elizabeth or whatever. So they're now trying to supplant those dudes. You see what I'm saying? So all of this is happening at the same time that they all still have to work together with the depopulation program. So they've been having major setbacks though. So they need certain events like what happened with Homie to get people wrapped up in that so they're not seeing the fact that the United States was found guilty in the international court over a 60-plus year case that has actually unequivocally proven that the United States States has been forming genocide against specifically the people they refer to as African Americans. That alone, them in that document, them referring to them as African Americans.
You saying they got a case right now?
It's already been done through the International Court of Justice, the International Criminal Court of Justice. The United States was found guilty of genocide against so-called black people in America and brown people and so-called minorities, indigenous peoples in the Americas. And the original case started all the way back, I think, like in the 30s.
Right.
And every year, every event that they did, they just added more shit onto it. This is why the United States does not want to recognize the International Criminal Court of Justice, because then they would have to recognize the jurisdiction. You see what I'm saying? But it doesn't change the fact that they have been found guilty by an international court of law, not America, the United States, i.e. the government of the District of Columbia, what we would refer to as the harlot or the daughter of Babylon.
Right.
That's what we should also understand too. When we talk about Babylon, you got the rosters got to understand and know everybody, but the real science of it is that it's an allegory for a type of being. Right? So ancient Babylon is dealing with our people, right? Babylon, right? That's basically Britain. The daughter or the harlot of Babylon, that's the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Mystery Babylon, that's the Vatican. See what I'm saying? So they all, it's really one thing. It's the same organization, but that organization now has centralized itself into all these subgroups that have now agreed that we're going to move forward aggressively with the depopulation thing, but we're going to trick the cattle into slaughtering itself, and that has started to backfire on them. So that happened with the United States thing now. That means anytime that they bring any melanated people to court, to bear, whatever, especially in cases dealing with real nationality or identity and shit like that, you can always throw that up in it and be like, well, yeah, you're going to try to say that I'm this, I'm that, because according to the International Criminal Court of Things, this is part of the genocidal thing that you've institutionally been doing. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So this is happening internationally now. So this means anybody in the world that's melanated, in a sense, got a case against the United States if they've been discriminated against. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And in the Court of International Accord, which is also connected to the UN, they gotta eat that. So that happened. Another thing happened. They have to accept the religious exemptions in New York.
Yeah. I heard they had to do that. They had to because De Blasio was out of there. They got a black mayor right now, and people the other day threw trash on De Blasio's lawn. The sanitation is pissed off. Rats. They said the rat issue has increased because they got trash.
Issue has reached the next level. I'm so glad I moved out of that place.
Right.
So glad I escaped New York because that shit.
I got a few family members that's there, and they trying to move back home to Detroit but it's, prices to skyrocket here, and so basically, shit, the banks is buying up everything, and so they're trying to literally get everybody out of that land anyway, and so I think they creating this. De Blasio was like a puppet that they put in there for the vaccines. They eating burgers and all that shit. The people just got pissed off, and what's so crazy. This is the same dude that was saying we need to respect the cops, love our firemen, our essential workers. Then you next year try to fire them and say you don't give a damn about them. And see, I say, this is what you get because shit, they was rolling with the program anyway, killing people in the hospitals, covering it up. I mean, people, they were saying the hospitals was full, the damn hospitals was empty. So shit, you get bit by the snake.
The New Yorkers voted for him, voted in a communist. You know what I'm saying? Cuomo is a communist. All these things is communist. De Blasio's on file as a communist. That's why he married the black chick. See what I'm saying? saying? Because that's how they roll. Like, they try to mask their race. The new white supremacy is the biodiversity shit. That's where now the new minority, which is really the majority, is the white man. But now because he wearing a dress, or because he cut his penis off, or because he married to a black girl, or because he got a black baby, or some other steez or whatever, he's now against white supremacy when it's still his system. It's still its system.
Right. We know that's been going on for long time.
Right, but what I'm saying is the reason why it's successful is because people that look like us are the main engines of it. They are the ones out here trying to con our people into poisoning and killing themselves. These are the same people, these same conscious, whatever type people, is the same ones that's out here 2 months ago, 2 years ago, talking about a white man is this, a white man that. Now you come out, so-called vaccine now. All these niggas is vaccine experts. They out here saying you're stupid if you're not taking it and you this and that.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I got family members that's into this shit and they swear by it, man. But the shit is coming down.
It's the same people that start talking about cracking this, cracking that. It's like, shut up, man. You believe everything this nigga tell you. You'll do anything that this nigga say. If they came out tomorrow and said the only way to get rid of corona is for you to start walking on your hands, that's the best way to do it. Keep your feet clean. Niggas would be out there trying to do that. And you know what? Pfizer will create upside down hand walkers for niggas to do it, and you gotta buy it in order to go into the store and shit. This is how they got it.
Yeah, man, this shit is crazy, man. Because I seen CNN say the vaccinated people dying of the COVID don't mean that the vaccine ain't working. They actually put a title out like that.
Straight lying to your face.
I said, what the hell? And people believe in it.
Coming and parroting that same damn lie. So that means everything y'all niggas taught me from second grade all the way up to college now is a lie. So now all of that's fake now. So now all that shit you didn't. So why you told me to go to biology class? Why you put me in science class? Why you put me in AP chemistry and all of that? Why you teaching me all this shit if you just gonna come and flip it? That's why you cannot invest in what these people give you as education, because education is for cattle. You know what I'm saying? That's for dead people. And the way that they have fooled us to believe is that if we can speak and act and talk and get the pieces of paper that they got, that will somehow be more accepted and more let into the society, and it will never happen like that. It can't, because they don't respect you. They don't. Like, this nigga's, he obviously don't respect his fans if he letting them get killed like that.
That's what I said. I mean, you got the people just dying. I thought they released. I never seen nothing like it in my life. They would have stopped it.
She was filming it. Out there trying to do that. And you know what? Pfizer will create upside down hand walkers for niggas to do it, and you gotta buy it in order to go into the store and shit. This is how they got it.
Yeah, man, this shit is crazy, man. Because I seen CNN say the vaccinated people dying of the COVID don't mean that the vaccine ain't working. They actually put a title out like
Like straight lying to your face.
I said, what the hell? And people believe in it.
Coming and parroting that same damn lie. So that means everything y'all niggas taught me from second grade all the way up to college now is a lie. So now all of that's fake now. So now all that shit you did. So why you told me to go to biology class? Why you put me in science class? Why you put me in AP chemistry and all of that? Why you teaching me all this shit if you just gonna come and flip it? That's why you cannot invest in what these people give you as education, because education is for cattle. You know what I'm saying? That's for dead people. And the way that they have fooled us to believe is that if we can speak and act and talk and get the pieces of paper that they got, that we'll somehow be more accepted and more let into the society, and it will never happen like that. It can't, because they don't respect you. They don't. Like, this nigga's, he obviously don't respect his fans if he letting them get killed like that.
That's what I said. I mean, you got the people just dying. I thought they released. I never seen nothing like it in my life. They would have stopped it.
She was filming it. And then when they was trying to bring people into the VIP, they was fighting them to keep the people away from the VIPs in the section. So when niggas started fighting them to bring the people who needed help and to get out of the pit into the place. And then that's when Chris and Kylie and the rest of them had to leave. Like I said, this is his 66th birthday, man. And this when all of this happened. So it was a grand climax for her. It's a great way to end Jason for all of the satanic suckheads that's out there. You know what I mean? Like, y'all doing y'all thing. And because the people now are going to solely just look at him. This is how they're going to do it. They're going to focus specifically on him on what he was doing with. When he's not the pyrotechnic nigga, he's not the head of the security. He's not. That's why.
No, they got the promoters, Live Nation, I think. Live Nation promoter.
That's Jay-Z.
You know.
That's Jay-Z. That's Jay-Z. See what I'm saying? Whenever there's mass death, something like that, this nigga always around somewhere. It's always in the background somewhere. Live Nation, Rock Nation, something like that. It's always that. Because these niggas is here, you are just fodder to them. You are there to worship them. That's how the God complex works. That's how idolatry works. You have chosen them to be whatever it is. When you give these empty vessels the idea that their song, that because they made a song, it changed your whole life. You understand? You have given them the power of God. You have given them that in your life. There have been songs that have affected me, and that have, when I hear them, they bring me back to a time or something in life, but the song didn't change me. I changed me. The song happened to just be playing in the background when I came to the realization, and now it acts as a trigger that is there to remind me of where I was at the time that song helped me transcend the situation. But it wasn't the song; it was what I felt in the moment.
Right.
Understand? That transcended that. So when these niggas put all of that on a song, you give them all of that to air. You give them all of that energy to something that, for all you know, when the nigga was making a song, he was raping a child. He was shooting somebody in the head. He was doing heroin. He was doing cocaine. He was talking about robbing somebody, placing a hit on a nigga, especially how these rappers and these niggas be. But no, you've taken that and you've put what you believe on it, as if that's going to change the intent of how it was created. And it doesn't. It just draws you more into it. So when everybody walked into that mouth, you remember that big mouth he had with his face?
Right.
Created by Dave LaChapelle, another heavy Satanist. And when y'all walked through that, that was you. That was you as that. There's a painting called Chronos Devours His Youth. And it's a sign, and it's a painting of a wild Caucasian man ripping the head off his own son, eating him. Okay? And the mouth is always used, or that mouth thing is always used in that type of thing. You read Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, Dante's Inferno.
When you go to the gates of hell. When you go to the gates of hell, you see the mouth of the name of the demon, that's the mouth that you walk in. That's the first gate. So when y'all did that, knowingly, unknowingly, this is what's going on. Like when you go to the watch Batman, when they go to the Joker section, there's the giant house with the Joker face. Doing heroin, he was doing cocaine, he was talking about robbing somebody, placing a hit on a nigga, especially how these rappers and these niggas be. But no, you've taken that and you've put what you believe on it, as if that's going to change the intent of how it was created. And it doesn't. It just draws you more into it. So when everybody walked into that mouth, you remember that big mouth he had with his face?
Right.
Created by Dave LaChapelle, another heavy Satanist. And when y'all walked through that, that was you. That was you as that. There's a painting called Chronos Devours His Youth. And it's a sign, and it's a painting of a wild Caucasian man ripping the head off his own son, eating him. Okay? And the mouth is always used, or that mouth thing is always used in that type of thing. You read Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, Dante's Inferno.
When you go to the gates of hell.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to the gates of hell, you see the mouth of what do you call it? I forget the name of the demon, but the name of the demon, that's the mouth that you walk in. That's the first gate. So when y'all did that, knowingly, unknowingly, this is what's going on. Like when you go to the watch Batman, when they go to the Joker section, there's the giant house with the Joker face, and then you walk through his mouth, right? And now you in
his world.
Realm. You in amusement now. Now anything can happen to you, but now you in this realm. And Astro world is a realm, right? It's a sub realm of hell. It's another suburb of hell, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Just like what you call it was that artists will sometimes create like fantasy worlds for listeners and people to go into with them. You see what I'm saying? Authors do it too, like Alice in Wonderland.
Right.
Catcher in the Rye. See what I'm saying? That's why you have so many people wound up killing people and was wound up with Catcher in the Rye in their crib. Because the realm is created through that artistic piece. But that means that there was an intent either implanted in it at the beginning or at some point before it became mass accepted by the mass.
You know, I'm gonna ask you something, Aseer, with the cops. Usually the cops are set. Man, I done seen them. I done been at some concerts where the cops just shut the shit down. They just get the ripping off cords and say, "Look, this shit is over." For real.
It don't even nothing happen. Niggas ain't good. They just upset.
Yeah, they just got upset and just shut down the whole concert. For real. So once I seen the cops wasn't doing nothing, I'm like, well, damn. They just watching the bodies, having seizures. They carrying people screaming. The girl gets up on the stage and warns the cameraman. Cameraman like, man, I don't got shit to do with that. I mean, and people literally dying. So, you know.
So the people that didn't care, that didn't do nothing, those are all the people that's down with it. That's how simple it is now. It wasn't like, oh, they didn't know what to do. No, these niggas is down with it. Somebody's dying and you can help them, try to help them. Regardless. See what I'm saying? So the fact that didn't happen, that's what it is. Like, you know how many people died at Woodstock?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You know how many people died at Woodstock? You know how many people got raped at Woodstock? You know how many people got human trafficked at Woodstock? You know how many people wound up missing after Woodstock and all of that? Half of them people is in Hollywood now. Half of them people is rich moguls in Hollywood. So all of that right now. Like, that's how the game go. You understand? They kidnap children and at Christmas, give the children to other people as gifts. That white people and these type of people got what they call suite rooms in their house where they have sub doors and stuff. And you go in, it's like a whole playroom, but it's like there's like plastic and shit on the floor. So when they dismember the child or whatever they do, they can clean it up real quick and keep everything nice. Like they used to have back in the days, the deformed Europeans, when they were sending them over here, the deformed white people, when they used to send them over here, and the ones that look more human was now trying to take more control as a decoy culture and prove their dominance and stuff. They would have what they call disappointment rooms. And that's where they would keep the ones that were reverting back to reptilian forms or the ones that was all, they keep them locked up in the attic and all that. You know what I'm saying? The white people, we had scales, some of them would be born with 2 head big faces on either side of their face and shit, like all types of crazy shit. Like all of that was popular. All of that though was hidden through the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene when they were basically adopted the eugenics program to now reverse that publicly and make it like that was us.
Right.
This is where the Planned Parenthood, the Negro Project, aka Planned Parenthood, and all of that came from. You understand? That all of these black, white women, white, feminist, liberal, Nazi white women are so into getting black women to be abortionists, to celebrate abortion and get as many abortions as possible. But they're not promoting that to their own women. They just use that as the thing to get black women to join up with Justice. And these dumb black women be doing it. You see what I'm saying? When really, you don't know that this white girl was raised by her grandmother, who may or may not have been a daughter of the American Revolution. And she's basically getting you to go along with the program because according to Margaret Sanger, our genes are too strong. So we need to be exterminated in order for them to live.
Right. Yeah, it was some what was that? Dr. Death in Germany was working on something like that to purify the white race, to get all that out of them.
Yeah.
And Auschwitz, he was working on.
This was them coming into their own, being mass incubated, and then let loose on the rest of humanity. And then all of us basically were now, well, not all of us, those of us that were in certain positions that wasn't with that, rebelled against that. And then those of us that was with it worked to help instill that 70 years. It was black women, nurses doing that, monitoring the niggas, lying to them every time they injected them with the poison. And I'm supposed to believe now, but now, today, you got black people that's coming out saying that the Tuskegee experiment wasn't about that.
Right.
That it didn't happen like that. That all black people that was involved with it didn't have those type of experiences. All of a sudden, right? You understand? This Miss Monica had Dr. Fauci on the couch talking on her. So I'm supposed to now take your medical advice because you spoke to Monica. Like,
yeah.
This is how low they think of us. This is why so-called melanated people don't get nowhere, because in America especially, your leaders are only puppets. They're actors, they're rappers, they're dancers, they're actors, rappers, dancers, what? Producers, athletes, and what?
Pretty much, yeah, that sums up a lot of it.
They pay attention to. Who else?
I mean, now you got what did you call it? You got the social media people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Influencers.
The influencers,
Right.
yeah.
Puppets. See,
You know,
puppets.
because they got them talking about the jabs and all that. They getting, and secretly was getting paid, getting checks. You
They
know.
all doing it. They've been, but my thing is, why are regular people surprised that these people have no integrity? You have to understand, when you're an actor, right? Because most rappers really are not rappers. Most rappers are really actors. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're actors who think they're rappers. You understand what I'm saying? Because they may have come from a great household, good family, this and that, but they will act like none of that is real to give you the impression that they are the worst people in humanity. And then when negative things happen to them, everybody's looking at like wonder why.
Yeah.
But they're willing.
Yeah, that's some crazy. That's
anything like an actor. Whatever the script say, whatever the contract say, if I've accepted that, then that's what I gotta do. Regardless of how it makes me feel, regardless of how it makes me look, regardless of how it makes my family look, regardless of whatever. So when you have a parent that has no integrity, they're going to create a child that has no integrity. And therefore, they're going to allow that child and exploit that child to do anything to get what they feel is that. And it's usually money. Like, look at Little Nas X Pops. Look at that. Like anybody co-signing him, you could leave over there.
yeah, he out of control. He's like out of control when that he gets his videos is just like
anything that's coming from him, like anybody that worked with him is suspect. Because I watched a rap icon like Nas, right? Do a record with this thing, right? That took his name, right? To now be the Nas. So now when you think of Nas, you gotta think of two people now. You see what I'm saying? Right? Right? To now be the Nas. So now when you think of Nas, you gotta think of two people now. You see what I'm saying? And this nigga gave him that, and after that he get the grant for a subpar album. It was cool, but come on, man. And then was able to double dip it, come out with the same album twice. You dig what I'm saying? And be lauded and be like, oh, this is the greatest thing since whatever. When really, I haven't listened to this nigga since Illmatic, or I Am. Like, really? Any real Nas fan? Like, come on, man. And it's not to say that these guys still shouldn't do what they're doing, but let's not act like these people are the leaders of our society. They can't be. You cannot be when you're corporately sponsored. Unless you're the corporation yourself, unless you establish your own corporation that is there to do what these corporations do, but just for you and your people, then you down with them. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So thanks, Live Nation. So this is true that. So Live Nation was involved with the Dipsy shit, right? They name came up with that. Now they name coming up with this. See, again, it's not a coincidence if it keep happening.
Yeah, because I mean, Jay-Z just won the Lifetime Award or what? What is he?
Yeah,
the Hall of Fame Award or something.
Yeah, now I'm trying to reach out to Dame. Like, Dame would do the best thing right now is stay away.
Stay away.
Stay as far away from that nigga as possible. If you had any real sense.
Right.
Because you got Kanye, you don't need him. You got Kanye. One thing I respect about him, he said anything that man needs. He said when that white man started talking, he said, look, white man, you're not going to speak on nothing between me and the nigga that put me on. Whatever this nigga needs, he good. That's why I'm like, dang, stay away from Jay, man. Get your flowers from the person that's willing to give it to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, that cat said he owe Beanie Siegel money. Beanie Siegel money for his name.
Jay-Z and his wife posing with blood diamonds. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wow. I'm gonna switch a little bit. I'm gonna talk about his internet name, Biden, Poopy Pan Biden. He went over, overseas. They say he poops on himself, but the Ashley Biden diary was supposedly stolen, and it talks about how her father used to molest her, all kind of wild shit. And the FBI got it. They raided James O'Keefe of Project Veritas, and said that he was behind it, but he said he ain't had shit to do with it. But yeah, you got that, and also you got.
How you raiding this nigga house when the nigga who's in the diary molesting her is running the country still? At what point do y'all say enough is enough? Because y'all, they was willing to impeach the last nigga for nothing.
Right.
They still going down for that. The Hillary Clinton, what's his name? Durham probe that happened.
Oh yeah, they got caught.
Everybody going to jail behind that.
Yeah, they got caught. The line and shit.
But it goes back. All can go back where they allegedly got him one day getting head from
Right.
Malia Obama, sniffing cocaine off his member. Right? Don't get mad at me that there are guys into that. Like, get mad at him because he's on tape with that, and you need to ask Barry what's up with that. How these niggas is letting their daughters just get turned out like that? But that's part of the game. When you're playing at that level, that's part of the game.
Yeah, sacrifice. You got to sacrifice your kids.
Like that. Hold on, let me get a charger.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's crazy. You got to sacrifice your kids when you're at that level. Man, you got Aseer dropping dimes once again. Man.
He created that. So we got the laptop where he not only is that that's on it, but the raping of the Chinese kids that the Chinese high command allegedly made him do to seal the deal and all that.
Yeah, they said they had some underage Asian girls on there or something, or Asian kids.
Oh, yeah, Asians, and then they got a snuff film of some African. Then remember, Frazzle Drip's still out there. That's the Hillary Clinton Abba Udine video where they cut the girl face off and started eating it for the adrenochrome and all that. So everything that they have ever said is a conspiracy is actually true. And anybody still acting like conspiracy theories is still a theory are actually down with it. They fall under the CIA directive 1035, open parentheses, 960, close parentheses. That's the document that basically created the term conspiracy theory and was able to turn people into informants the more they use it. So keep being an informant, keep being an agent for the enemy, who is, again, the corporate monarchy that has merged with the intelligence agencies and that have pledged themselves to Mystery Babylon and everything connected with that.
It's
An agent for the enemy, who is, again, the corporate monarchy that has merged with the intelligence agencies and that have pledged themselves to Mystery Babylon and everything connected with that.
It's just been a lot of shit going down since Biden got in office, man. You got Fauci, he keep going back and forth in the Senate. He switching shit on the NIH websites and changing definitions and literally just changing it. They see it and he changing it.
But we got the old shit.
That's what I'm saying.
So it don't matter what y'all doing now. It's over. If they came out this nigga, and if they came out that they put a stay on any federal vaccinated mandates.
Yeah, that was through the
Tonight, a deadline deferred and what some call a win for workers. A federal court temporarily halts a vaccine mandate on big businesses with more than 100 workers. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kelly Sanchez. A panel of judges issued this, a ruling that leaves the Biden administration with just days to prepare a defense. Our Chris Rosado spoke with the lawyers behind the suit about their next steps and also has more on the ultimatum the White House is faced with.
This was risky type of research, gain-of-function research. It was risky to share this with the Chinese, and that COVID may have been created from a not yet revealed virus. We don't anticipate the Chinese are going to reveal the virus if it came from their lab. You know that, but you continue to mislead. You continue to support NIH money going to Wuhan. You continue to say you trust the Chinese scientist. You appear to have learned nothing from this pandemic. Will you today finally take some responsibility for funding gain-of-function research in Wuhan?
Senator, with all due respect, I disagree with so many of the things that you've said. First of all, gain of function is a very nebulous term. We have spent, not us, but outside bodies, a considerable amount of effort to give a more precise definition to the type of research that is of concern that might lead to a dangerous situation. You are aware of that. That is called P3CO.
We're aware that you deleted gain of function from the NIH website.
Well, I can get back to that in a moment if we have time. But let's get back to the operating framework and guide rails of which we operate under. And you have ignored them. The guidelines are very, very clear that you have to be dealing with a pathogen that clearly is shown and very likely to be highly transmissible in an uncontrollable way in humans and to have a high degree of morbidity and mortality, and that you do experiments to enhance that. Hence the word EPPP, enhanced pathogens of
So when
potential
EcoHealth
pandemic.
Alliance took the virus
well, I would love to
SHC014
finish.
and combined it with WIV1 and caused a recombinant virus that doesn't exist in nature, and it made mice sicker, mice that had humanized cells, you're saying that that's not gain-of-function research?
According to the framework and guidelines.
So what you're
of
doing is
P3
defining away gain-of-function.
No.
You're simply saying it doesn't exist because you changed the definition on the NIH website. This is terrible, and you're completely trying to escape the idea that we should do something about trying to prevent a pandemic from leaking from a lab. The preponderance of evidence now points towards this coming from the lab, and what you've done is change the definition on your website to try to cover your ass, basically. That's what you've done. You've changed the website to try to have a new definition that doesn't include the risky research that's going on. Until you admit that it's risky, we're not going to get anywhere. You have to admit that this research was risky. The NIH has now rebuked them. Your own agency has rebuked them. But
That's-
But we got the old shit.
That's what I'm saying.
So it don't matter what y'all doing now. It's over. If they came out this nigga, and if they came out that they put a stay on any federal vaccinated mandates.
Yeah, that was through the. I was gonna ask you about that through the Fifth Circuit Court down south, the southern states.
Shut it down. Shut it down. Because the Bible say you're not supposed to receive the mark of the beast. And they will put it in your flesh. And none shall buy or sell that receive this mark.
Right.
Right? So that's in Romans. So these Romans is doing that now. So the fact they very policy match the biblical shit. And because they made the Bible public law in the United States of America, that is why they cannot get past the religious exemption. See?
Now you damn sure ain't gonna get past that in the Bible Belt.
I'm trying to convince you. Look, they went from saying that we need to stay apart to be together. Then they went from saying that the first responders are the greatest heroes.
Right.
Now the same responders that don't want to get the backs, that ain't caught the shit, now they are fired. Now you're destroying the economy. The people you were just calling heroes, you're now putting them out for work for a mandate that's not even a law.
Right.
Anybody that's supporting that is against humanity. This is not about right or wrong, good and evil. No, this is about whether or not you're a human or you're one of these transhuman aliens that's trying to kill the rest of us. That's it.
Yeah, it got to be some type of alien, man, because they just, like I said, since Biden got in, there was shit going on before that, but it just increased and intensified when Biden got in there on all that shit from the Capitol riots.
Because he's not really in there. The White House is still for sale on Zillow. Like, what's up with that? Nobody told about that. I've been talking about this stuff since this thing got in there, and nobody is talking about none of this. What they want to do, they want to go on the internet and bang on each other. They want to expose shit that is irrelevant. They want to expose shit irrelevant. They want to investigate and dig on each other. They willing to pay the police to get records on niggas now. Like these YouTube niggas is the police. They all the police. They all investigate one another. They all in each other's business. They go in each other's house, going to their garbage and shit. Like what you don't need the FBI. You see what I'm saying? The FBI, CIA, they gonna turn the regular person into that. These niggas, they won't even talk about certain shit because they scared the algorithm is gonna shut them down. You understand what that means? That means then that they not talking to you about nothing real. They can't talk about nothing real because they are scared that the algorithm
Nothing.
The content is based upon how poor in character this other person is. Meanwhile, the same devil that we've been banging on all this time is doing all this bullshit, and what? We not saying nothing about it. There's no videos on that. There's no videos exposing what was under the stage at the Astro World concert. There's no videos talking about what happened to the Hunter Biden laptop. How come y'all niggas ain't paying for money for that? Be the first YouTuber to spot that on YouTube. Like, let's.
There's been some people that's been breaking it down. They've been breaking it down. I know the Astro Realm. They've been breaking it down. You got a lot of, like, you got the security guard from Astro World came out and said he was pricked in the neck. You got, you know what I'm saying? He just passed out.
The needles, yes. But I'm saying no. I'm saying it on a community level, like us.
Right.
Like the shit that we're in. The people that look like us, instead of build, like they're gonna build on this now because this is news now. But I was building on shit like this with you from like the first show.
Years, yeah, it was building.
It wasn't popular about how to watch out for yourself in mass events and shit like that. Like we've spoken about stuff like this.
Right.
So this is not new. I'm not just talking about this now because this is a new shit. Like I had to stop doing that myself. Like when the craze was doing DVDs and busting movies down and doing all of that. Like I did a couple of tapes like that, but then I slowed up on that because it's like, no, I'm not gonna spend my time supporting Amazon, supporting these movies and shit like that or whatever. And then it's like I almost gotta wait for these niggas to make a movie for me to have something to talk about. No, that's part of the problem. So like I said, when you have a community that started out banging and exposing King Alfred, exposing Global 2000, exposing quiet weapons for silent wars, like we've been on this shit.
Right.
We've been talking about this.
The Turner Diaries, the whole nine.
The Trilateral Commission, the Committee of 300. We everything that these niggas.
Pale White Horse.
We don't already knew. We don't already predicted and said it was happening. I've been telling niggas about the shit when they came out with the first New World Order book that was white and small and had the pyramid on the money on it. With the
I think I've seen that.
New World Order in it. Yeah. Like, I remember having to go and all of the stuff that I read for all these years now come to pass, and while it's happening, same people that was looking at me acting like I'm crazy, like something wrong with me, something wrong with you for knowing and being involved and caring about these certain things and making a stand, a delineation where, okay, great, all these niggas is Negroes, but I'm not, and this is why. And you don't have the right to tell me that I'm not this because it benefits you for me to be what you say. No. We the only people doing that. Moore's the only people doing that. Everybody else going along with it. All of these rappers, like the muscle dude, the dude that just died, the big muscle dude, allegedly he caught the jab.
Right.
Hank Aaron, you saw what happened with him.
You see the diver, I think I sent you some pics earlier. The diver, he got like myocarditis. He used to hold his breath for 10 minutes, dive to 1,000 feet, swim with whales.
And all of them niggas. So all of them is the ones that they militarized communism.
Right.
All these SJW, militant, trans, LGBTQP, LYZ, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, all them type of people.
Yeah, they got a long title.
Politicized and militarized, but they don't really stand for shit. So what they did was they got rid of basically all of the comic people that was really pros, really know what they was doing, and supplanted them with these assholes to come along with the diversity thing. And so at the height of Marvel, so remember Marvel was popping with the Avengers and different movies, in the comic world, they had switched. So you saying Iron Man, Tony Stark, and you want to go to the comic book store and get a new Iron Man comic, and now Iron Man is some black chick named Riri. Like, what? What are y'all
Right. Yeah, I remember that was the alter. Yeah, because that's how they did Spider-Man. They turned him black. They start turning Loki to the girl.
It's how you do it. It's how you do it. See, Miles Morales was introduced in a good way, so he wasn't there to supplant Peter Parker. It was how the writer did it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
They were analogous, and one was in one universe, one was in the other. But what I'm saying is, it didn't come off like we're gonna break Peter Parker down to build Miles Morales up. So what they do, like with the new Hawkeye show, they're gonna get rid of Hawkeye. They're gonna make him basically incompetent. Now the nigga that saved the universe, he gonna go down here, and now Kate Bishop, some chick you ain't never heard of, they're gonna put her up here as the new Hawkeye. But you wouldn't like Kate Bishop because you don't know who she is. But you know who Hawkeye is. But you know who Hawkeye is. So what they do is they take the name that you're familiar with and bait and switch you. And what this has done is it has tanked the American comic book industry to the point that manga is destroying it.
Yeah, the anime.
Anime is destroying it. And those anime niggas, that's a whole nother system of oppression. Manga is an oppressive system of art where when you become a manga, like you'll get back problems. Like when you do it like them out there in Japan, it's so diligent that you will get back problems. Most of them die of cancer, like because of how they have to produce this manga. They're slaves. What made American comics great was that we were all in it. So this fake diversity gay thing that they're doing, trying to inject it in, right, has had the opposite effect. Because people are equating this now, so now they're about to kill Superman, replace him with his gay son that nobody likes.
Yeah, Loki was a woman. That's why they started fucking up Loki. They turned into a chick.
That's what they want to do, all of them, because they have to destroy anything that was reflective of your old life, because they're bringing you into this new digital age where there is no male or female. The other side of this, though, what they're not talking about, is that Marvel, the reason why they also doing this is because Marvel's about to lose all of the characters to the original creators.
Jack Kirby,
even though created them as work for hire, based upon the original agreements and the exploitation that they received from it, they now have a case, and it looks like in another 10 years, 5 to 10 years, they're not going to own none of them.
Is it that Jack Kirby's family?
Jack Kirby's family, Chuck Dixon's family, John Byrne's family.
I know that's why Starlin stopped fucking with him. Who created Thanos and all that.
The Eternals, all of that.
Yeah, he didn't like that.
Eternals. Nobody read the Eternals. Nobody read that. I never read it growing up. I knew about it. I saw a couple.
I had a few Eternals books. I mean, but it didn't do. It was like a little. It's kind of like the X Factors and all that came out. Remember the X Factors?
It was like Gods of Olympus and all of that. But all of that, like I said, was taken from the Moorish history and all of that as well. But as a money making commodity, nobody was messing with Eternals like that. So now that they can't show the movie in like 40, 50 countries, it's now basically tanking, which means
Yeah, it's flopping.
Spider-Man, ain't nobody, the superhero thing for the mainstream is kind of dead. There's going to be some stuff that come out, like the Batman, that's going to be dope. But for the most part, people, the real hardcore fans are going back, and they're now plotting what they're going to do when these characters go public. When Superman go public, I could write a Superman story, and they couldn't do shit. And get money from it and all of that. When go public, this is what's going to happen. So they're trying to destroy the characters.
So what you mean they going public like what?
Like another 10 years, Superman as a character is not going to be owned by DC no more. None of these characters, they're going to be owning them no more because these corporations have certain shelf lives in which they had to renegotiate. And if they renegotiate with the original creators going to take the whole thing. It's just like in the rap game with owning your masters. This is now happening in the comic industry. And now it's destroying the industry because the industry is run by communists and transgenderists and homosexuals. Everybody else except people who write and like comic books. So they hire the exact opposite people to come and destroy everything that we like. So this way, we have to take the message that they're forcing on us, which is heterosexuals are evil, and anybody that is not human is better. Robots are better than humans. That's why when you watch movies, like with the new movie Finch with Tom Hanks, the robot is always given the humanity, and the human is always given the inhumanity, like a robot, because they want us to hate humanity when we're supposed to uplift it. So any original archetype has to be perverted and inverted, because I told you these niggas are inverts.
Right.
They invert everything because they worship Attis, which is an inverted god. You see? And when they can't take you over, what they do is they take your name, like what they did with the name Canaanite. The Hereshaph in the ancient times or whatever, we destroyed them and wrapped them up and put them in the side. And so years later, after the elders of our race was born, these niggas went and started calling themselves Canaanites, using the old name and doing the child sacrifices, taking the name Malik, which means great teacher, which was the name of the elders. The elders were called the Meleks in the old Canaanitic hierarchy.
Right.
And then they came later and they took the name and then dirtied it up to the point now with today when you say Canaanite to certain people, they still are going by what the crackers, right?
Right.
The devil's history done said that it is, thereby denying you of your own. You see? And again, we're just using that name Canaanite as an English version of Canaan. You see what I'm saying? Or the Canaan, right? Which is where we get the term Khan in American from. See what I'm saying? So we are the only people who are tracing our ancient lineage as melanated people in America back to its origin, and therefore we can, because of that, we can be that as Moors and whatever today. Everybody else is just putting on clothes, acting like that. You see what I'm saying? The Hebrew Israelites, they're not going to court and declaring their nationality and all that. They may be doing that now, but that wasn't the disease. Moors initiated all of that. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for Moors doing all this aboriginal, none of that would exist. You know what I'm saying? So we are always dejected by our own, I think, because we're the ones that's kind of sitting back looking at everybody play themselves, including the Moors, including them too. Yet, it doesn't change the fact that we are all being put into Astro World. This thing we're in now is Astro World. This United States, Biden, America, whatever you call it, that's Astro World.
This is just how close the 20-year-old was when Travis Scott took the stage Friday night.
I was like a current almost in an ocean.
Of people moving like a wave.
You either had your arms down or up. You weren't just like doing this freely. You definitely weren't moving your arms. You either were here or here. I had 4 to 6 people touching me at all times probably. Felt like I probably had 15 to 20 pounds on my chest and back. Whenever.
Just devastated, and I could never imagine anything like this just happening. And I'm gonna do everything I can to keep you guys updated and just keep you guys.
People are fucking dying over 6 somebody's life. That's somebody's kid.
Two hands to the sky.
I'm gonna save them.
Two hands to the sky. Two hands up, y'all. Two hands up. Y'all know what y'all need to do. Chase me. Let's go. You gotta hold people in the pit. We'll take care of them. I wanna make this motherfucking great. Hold on. Turn the lights on. I think I see somebody in the tree. Turn the lights on.
We have.
Am I the only person who didn't see none of the Astro World chaos?
All you gotta do is decide whether or not you're gonna go through the mouth or not. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I got one last question before we get out here about the Alpo thing. I know the Alpo supposedly got killed, but before that, Fetty Wap had got an indictment, and what they were saying that maybe this is he faked his death. I mean, this is just allegedly faked his death or has something to work with the cops or with the feds. You know what I'm saying? Because it's looking kind of fishy. Because, you know what I'm saying, moving at night, on a Halloween night when a lot of, if you into that game, not to go out on Halloween, not to go out on the 4th of July.
And they said he had a pack on him, and he dished a pack on him before the hit went down.
Right. But all the cameras supposedly got shot by police station. There's cameras all around. Nobody's got the footage.
Yeah, that means it's a hit. That's the government spooks moving him to another location to set other niggas up or whatever. Like, what made me know that the Travis Scott thing was real was watching a video from the young brother who was there and was going in on it on a demonic tip. Like, he really could tell, like, that's not no script. This brother's real. He was really there. You could see it really happen. And then watching what the other people were saying about the same thing. For us, Alpo or Harlem, all that, Harlem been took over. Clinton been running Harlem since he moved into Harlem.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was president. And moved right up in there, and them boule niggas went right up in there and been kissing his ass and his constituency ass ever since. And all the niggas up there, whatever, was all down with it. You know what I'm saying? From Percy Sutton all the way down to Wrangle and all the niggas. And at the behest of the end of the Trump era, where this nigga, the fake Biden came in, those people sold the interest in the civil rights black community to the LGBTQ community. And they taped the meeting. That was the meeting when they was talking about it, and he was screaming on them and talking to them like a slave master, talking about how they was going to get
Right, I had that played on the show before, the recording.
That's right. That was the meeting in which those niggas sold you out. So all of the black female and male Democrats that was in and convince you that everybody had to be except Trump, all y'all upwardly mobile so-called black women and boulets and archons and fraternities and sororities and all of y'all are on the hook for this. It's y'all fault, not us, because we never participated and we was telling y'all this nigga and this shit was whack from the beginning. Where Kamala Harris at? Where's she at? Nowhere. So that's what I'm saying, B. Like, it's just over. You cannot trust no black politician, Democrat, or
Right, because she came from an HBCU and Biden took money away from the HBCU. I mean, how is that possible?
Trump gave them niggas more money than they ever seen in their life. Before they could cash that check, this nigga Biden came right in there. And the same bitch that went to the HBCU was right there with them and helped them close that door. So again, it's the same bitch, but again, she's supposed to be black, but then she Indian, but then she Asian, but then she this. And who's the one pushing it in our face? The upwardly black women, right? The black women. Black women magic, black women this, black women that. But when you ask the same black women, well, what about the 64,000 black women that went missing during the whole riots and all that shit that was happening between then and now? Where they at? Where's your programs for that? Where's the dance for that? Where's the ribbon?
You ain't gonna hear nothing.
For that. You don't do none of that. You're not doing none of that because in the end you don't care. All y'all want to do is marry some rich white man, marry some gay black man, become a world famous influencer, and then travel the world and watch your people suffer. That's what y'all want to do. The black males too, because these niggas, what they doing, they just like, whatever. I'ma come in wearing a dress. I'ma come in on the gay shit. I've never seen somebody that want to convince people he gay more than Lil Nas X.
No, I got Westbrook on that one. Westbrook will come into the basketball game.
Yes, you're right.
Westbrook will come in with some heels on to a game.
Westbrook, bro.
I don't know what's up with him.
Other one too, Kid Cudi.
Yeah, Kid Cudi. Yeah, Kid Cudi do be wearing dresses.
I have not seen niggas in such a hurry to put on a dress to convince somebody that they are down with them. But if I was to go to one of these niggas right now and say, look, we need to set up this and that, our own tribunal for our people to have our own, handle our own internal affairs and all that. This nigga look at me like I'm crazy. You gotta go check with his Jew accountant. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not like this, bro. We care about humanity, and those of us that do show it. Outside of that, stop looking to these celebrities to be your leaders. Stop looking at everybody on TV for the answer. You have the answer, just like you have the answer for you. People like me, I'm just here to remind you that you don't need the niggas that's on this like that. And if I can help you get to a point where you can then do that for yourself, then cool, I'm going to do that. But I'm not going to do that to the point where I'm asking you I'm your leader, you're going to worship me, you're going to give me all the money in your account, I don't want that type of responsibility. I don't have that type of ego. I didn't get into it for this.
Right.
All I wanted to do was rap, like I told you, and draw comics. And now I'm going right back to doing that. You see what I'm saying? Because as I'm seeing it, the best way to influence and really do what I've been doing for the past 20 years, put it in the book, get the book, adapt that to a TV show. That's how I'm getting to things. Because everything else, man, y'all will entertain everything. I've been out here for over 20 years more, giving so much information that niggas have used that information in their presentations, in their books. And then the same niggas, I had this one nigga who tried to blackmail me by hitting me with a copy strike, and then tried to blackmail me to get him on my show to remove it, to promote him. And I've never heard of this nigga.
That's crazy.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, between that, the rumors, the fake exposés, like niggas making up shit. All because when you're consistently doing something, you can monitor what you're accomplishing. And my accomplishment is in real time. My real stuff that I've really been successful with, I don't even talk about on YouTube or none of that. The people that I've been working with know that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's who it's for. It's not for me to get more likes because I don't make no money off of YouTube. I don't make no money off of Facebook.
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? But these niggas live on there. They whole thing, they got 9-10 pages. Like these niggas, they got a whole script set. You see what I'm saying? Oh, okay, I can't say this, I can't say this, I can't say this, I can't say this. I don't live like that. I say what I want to say.
Right.
I talk to who I want to talk to. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. And that's how we all supposed to be, man.
That's like a whole metaverse over there, I guess, in between. They in a whole nother realm.
We saw it on Black Mirror, man. This is a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, I know that episode.
Yeah, God. So again, that's precognitive programming. That's showing you what they're doing to you before they do it. That's why they put the sheep on the outside, the sheep pen on the outside of the slaughterhouse. You understand? So the sheep can see and hear what eventually is going to happen to them. You understand? That's what's really going on, man. And everybody is so egotistically caught up that they just want to be the one that everybody go to for the knowledge of this or that. And really, we supposed to be building communities
together.
You see what I'm saying? Outside of this thing. So, like I said, the real stuff that I'm doing, some of that you'll never hear about that on Facebook till it's done. You'll never see it on YouTube until it's done. I got niggas doing videos about shit events that I hosted and stuff in North Carolina like 5-6 years ago, doing videos about it now, how it wasn't real, how it didn't happen, how I don't have this and have that. You understand? These niggas are crazy and they want somebody, and you think I'm gonna sully myself by even making a video or commenting on you, other than hitting you up directly. After that, I'm already taking it to the spirit realm. I'm already dealing with the astral. I got my peoples in Cameroon who sit around a pot. They got a giant pot. The Wafo, they got a giant pot. They sit there, that pot. They've been turning that shit for about a year, for years. Same pot shit, and they just keep putting it in. So every time they might say some bullshit about me, you know, I'm going, you going right in the pot and it's over.
Right.
And then when it happens, I never hear from these niggas again. That's my word to Allah. So keep playing. Keep doing shit. I got shit like that all over the planet. I got Buddhist niggas. You know what I'm saying? I got Buddhist
They're the
niggas.
love. The energy. Energy matters.
Because I'm like this with them. And I'm building with them in they cipher. With the respect that they cipher. Because again, Islam knows no birth record. So the original Buddha Siddhartha was a more, he just like me. So talking to me is like talking to him.
Right.
And they talk to me like they would talk to him. That's how I know more. That's how I know. But these people be out here like really caught up in the idea and all of that, like the feds and all of that. This is supposed to just be a representation of what is internally in you. So if you ever out and you walking with a Moor and you just happen to look at his fez and his fez by the brim is all sweated out, that's something to look at. The Prophet, as well as the Moors in general, said we're supposed to look our best. And if this is a symbolic aspect of Allah, why would I have it looking ragged?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, again, cleanliness is next to godliness. But when you are in a demonic civilization and you caught up in astral world, you're going to get done up in that. That's why I said, go on my page, get them pictures of the rock and roll shit that I posted.
Right.
So you can see that. And then one of them pages, I got the orange joint. You see the orange demon, right? And from the movie, and then look at the demon that they had orange on top.
Yeah, I was previewing them before. I mean, during the show, but I'm gonna look at them and post them on the show too. I'm gonna, do my little edit, and it's gonna take me a minute. So you gotta give me probably the Friday.
Yes, Mo, get it poppin'. And like I said, man, anybody wants to holler at me, hit me up at houseofbell@hotmail.com. Definitely check out www.aseerthetears.com. www.cordovaorganics.com. Definitely check out www.gumroad.com. Type in Aseer the Dugateers in the chat and you see a bunch of my classes, PDFs, and books. Also, you can go to Facebook. I'm out of Facebook jail, so you can hit me up now at Aseer Ali Cordova. And yeah, man, thanks to you for having me on. It's gonna be
it's always a pleasure, man, having the Aseer the Dugateers on, man. You already know it's legendary. You already know.
Appreciate that, guys.
I got your too. You gotta send me your shipping info, man. I keep losing it. I got some hot sauce I'm working on with a company, man. So you know, I'm gonna send you the. I'm bottling it up probably in about a week or two. So I'm gonna send that off to you. You know, a few bottles, let you try it out. So, so you know.
Industrious, man. The cookbook, the joint, the hot sauce, like, congrats, man. To
Right.
you, to Chantel, you know what I'm saying? The family, like, that's what I mean, man. Industriousness. This is how we get out of it, by doing stuff. Like, revolutions don't start overnight. And ain't no revolution ever started by somebody who was invested in the same system they rebelling against.
Shit, you already know. This is our time, Aseer. The planets lined up, and if you ain't taking your advantage of these situations, I don't know what to tell them. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to tell them, Aseer, but you already know.
Blood's in the streets, what they say, buy property, right? Like, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Like, this nigga Kanye is a billionaire. This nigga can make $1 billion over doing that bullshit, and with all of that money, he still don't own his masters. You know what that's like?
Yeah, that's your babies. That's part of you. You know.
So I hear what you're saying, homie, and I'm not in no way hating on none of these guys, none of these celebrities or whatever, because a lot of these niggas listen to me on the low too, and I've been told this by people who be around me. But either way, it's to say that if you really want to make something happen, you need to contact people who are really gonna make it happen. And the way that this game work now, you kind of know who really about it and who not. So if these niggas is talking about creating schools and putting Dr. Sadie diet in it, that's one person away from the so-called community that we in. Because our community is what brought that nigga to the mainstream. Okay, there would be no Dr. Sadie if it wasn't the people in Brooklyn. Okay, I'll bring it to Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, when he was being brought there, when my grandmother, when the first holistic people, big up, blessed dead Dr. Ronnie Davidson, MD, he was one of the first health dudes in that. And my grandmother had great grandma had diabetes. She used to come to the crib and do acupuncture on her. And I'm seeing this at like 7, 8, 9, 10. He used to come do acupuncture on it. He was the first nigga with the juices. He was all of that. He was talking about Dr. I heard about Dr. Sadie when I was like a child. You dig?
Right.
So, in seeing this evolve into what it eventually become, and see how they let that man die. You understand? And now Nick Cannon come out want to do it. Like, nigga, where was you at when he was in the fucking hospital? When he was in the jailhouse? Where was any of you niggas at?
They didn't want to be around them. They come aftermath, the aftermath.
Yeah. Then boom, Nipsey come in. He start talking about it. You see what happened to him? Nick Cannon start talking about it. See how they did him. This nigga, he won't be wearing a turban no more. He none of that shit. He know. He done going back to the nigga shit. He just had a bunch of babies. Like, these niggas is a fool, man. And these Moors, I be hating to see certain Moors who give these dudes props and shit like that, because they'll be next to you in a picture, or they'll show up and buy a book. Like, unless these niggas is coming through with some real look, I'm ready to make shit happen. Then it's all a joke. And these pundits, these YouTube niggas, as much as they make tapes exposing and all that with these dudes, if these niggas come right now and say, yo, I got 2 tickets to the next Astro World, you want to go? Right there.
Oh, that shit was hype, man. It was dope. I'm there, Joe. I'm your bro. I'm there.
Just to do a video on it.
I'm there.
Yo, just to sell on niggas. Like, I look like Travis Scott is cool. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, man.
Come on.
Motherfuckers be hurrying up showing up.
I appreciate you having me on. And, you know, because this is going to be one of the last ones I do for a while.
Right.
I'm starting to get all this other shit popping. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, all these shows, all I'm seeing, as soon as I be like, okay, I'm going to do this other show, then the next thing I know, this nigga's, he or she is involved with all of the drama. So I'm not coming in after that. I'm not going to do that. No.
Right. Right, I feel that.
And it almost be every time, fam. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then something happened. And then boom, my turn is like, yo, so-and-so's on this nigga going in. Now they banging on each other. I'm not going nowhere near that.
I don't know what the fuck they get that shit from. Just do you. Shit. Who gives a fuck, you know?
Again, big up to you. Big up to those people and all of the other shows
Much love.
that I've been blessed to have on. I really appreciate it. And yeah, man, I'm gonna keep you posted. And when I'm ready to do them again, I'll holler at you.
Right.
But anybody again wants to holler at me, you can hit me up at houseofl@hotmail.com. That's HOUSEOFEL@hotmail.com. And if anybody wants to send any donations, you can do so via Cash App, which is the $, capital D, capital S, 418.
Right.
So again, man, thank you for having me on.
Much love.
Everything. I'm sorry, it's man hot in here, so I just like.
Man, tell big up to the queen and the family, and much love and thanks, man, on Truth Talk Nation, man, for being on here, man. You already know we appreciate everything.
It's on, my brother. Love to all of the Moors. Love to the Divine and National Movement. Love to the human families of the planet Earth. Love to all of the nations of all of the melanated peoples. All we got. Whether you from America, we from Africa or Asia or Europa, we were all the original people of all of those lands. So we're the indigenous to Earth itself.
Islam.
That and all of that. But let's support each other becoming great in the dominions that we are, so we can eventually come back together and do some great work, man. And get out of this cash and get out of this back and forth rat race. Start getting into real wealth management, real estate building, estate planning, trusts, you know what I'm saying? Irrevocable trust, powers of attorney. This is where you need to be going, especially if you're trying to do any type of business. And then take that business and put it under your religious society, analogous to the charitable trust that's created alongside of that. So now you have active juxtaposition for your position to support your own community internally. Create that closed loop, circulate that money 9 times around that, and by the 9th time, we all up. You know what I'm saying? So there's definitely plans on how to do that. Hit me up at houseofl@hotmail.com. Islam, man.
All right, peace, man. Much love, more. Thanks a lot.
Peace.
Peace.